Hello and welcome to the making of Playing with Songs. I'm Rob Langley-Jones and this is episode number 12. Okay, so last week I was talking a little bit about grading, and this is where I'm going to pick up from this week, in this week's episode. So grading, it's a tricky procedure, or it's turning out to be. When I filmed a lot of the first episode about Today is the Day, I had a little lamp shining on me for some of the shots. I've got these strip lights above me, and I've got daylight coming from outside, which is also mostly going through blinds. So what that means is I've got three different kind of whites. I've got kind of a greeny kind of white from these fluorescent halogen lights, maybe an orangey light from my lamp, and then outside is kind of an orangey blue kind of light, depending on how much the blinds are pulled. So I'd been going through, trying to pull out the green, pull out the red. Oh dear, it's quite a kerfuffle. And actually just at this point, just the point of recording, I think I've sussed out a much simpler way by adjusting the hue. And the hue just changes the whole, white balance point. Because I tried the whole click, to choose something that's white and have a white balance. That didn't work. It just didn't make it look any better. But I found if I really tweak the hue just a tiny amount until my skin tone looks normal, then maybe the other crazy colours will be going on around me or slight tints, but I look normal, like alive. And it's funny because even there's this technique where you can sort of crop someone's face and then you look at a vector scope and you have this thing called a skin tone line, and I tried to get the colour tint so that my skin is on the skin tone line. And even then it still looked wrong. And I wonder whether part of it could be that colour grading is a very subtle process where you get the colours looking just right, and I'm not really sure I have that much patience for it. But at the moment, touch wood, I found this solution that seems to be working. So I'm bringing up the highlights so that there's more contrast, bringing down the shadows, so just a smidge anyway, so there's a bit more contrast, bringing up the saturation a bit, and then if the colour looks fine already, just leaving it well alone. If there's a bit of a tint, now just shifting the whole hue. And that seems to be doing the trick, thank goodness. Another thing I've been continuing to do is the Wim Hof cold showers. I think, by the time you listen to this, it will appear that I've done it for 2 weeks, but actually I've been sneaky and recorded 2 episodes in 1 week. And this is because with the Patreon release, I have to get ahead. If I don't get ahead, there's a risk that I could fall behind. And the most important thing, I think, about putting out a show, one of the most important things, is consistency. And thankfully, I've got plenty more things to talk about. I was worried I was going to run out of things to talk about by doing 2 episodes in a week, but I haven't, thankfully. So I've carried on with the cold showers. They're getting easier and easier. I'm enjoying them more and more, especially when I have it completely cold from the mains. I get this, it's really nice actually, really nice burning feeling, especially in my shoulders. And it feels so good. And I think it must be doing good because yesterday I woke up with a crooked shoulder and then I had the shower. And after that, I was fine. And today, it's gone again. So I think it's definitely helping. I want to do it more because I have a lot of problems with my wrists being quite weak, especially playing the guitar. And I've seen some videos online about putting your hands in, a bucket full of ice. And I think now that I've kind of got used to this cold tolerance, I could easily do that. But I'm not sure if that's a Wim Hof practice or if that's just another one. But I might give it a go. It sounds quite fun, actually, especially if it will reduce some of the pain, the kind of RSI kind of pain, which I think for me stems a lot from the fact that I tend to constantly have especially my right shoulder, just a smidgen up. and you probably, if you're watching the video, it's almost imperceptible, but just this tiny amount. And I think that's what leads to most of the pains I have in my shoulder and through across to my wrist, because if I take a breath and let it go, suddenly this shoulder drops. For some reason, my right shoulder is quite a lot lower than my left. I did have a masseuse say, that you good to sort them out and bring my left shoulder down, but anyway, all I know is when I'm able to fully relax my right shoulder, most of the pains go away. So anyway, right, and then that was the cold showers. And the breathing has been brilliant. The Wim Hof breathing, I'm really getting into doing it more correctly. He's got this free app, and I set the guided breathing on slow, and I've started doing something different that I wasn't doing before. Before I was sort of breathing in, it was all quite kind of effortful. Now I'm trying to breathe in a very relaxed way, and when I breathe out, I'm just sort of relaxing to let all the air out. And the other thing I've started doing is to be mindful of being as relaxed as possible, and every out breath trying to relax more and more and more. And I did it just now, and it felt amazing. So much feeling of bliss. I sort of lent into that feeling of bliss. Now I do apologise that my voice sounds a little bit. It's because I've just eaten a couple of biscuits, and now my mouth's full of saliva. So I apologise. So yeah, so much bliss. It just, it felt incredible, and really, it's really having the effect I hoped it would have, whereby, I wake up in the morning like today, felt really rubbish, this cold is still dragging on, feeling absolutely awful, don't want to do anything, have the cold shower, go for a quick walk to warm up my hands and feet, come back, do the Wim Hof, and then feel incredible. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still feel a little bit poorly, because I do still have this cold that's dragging on a bit, but if I hadn't have done the shower and the breathing, I probably would have just thought, oh no, I'm too ill to do anything. But I do that, and then suddenly all this energy comes back and all this bliss. So it's really, really been wonderful, and I'm just going to keep doing this forevermore. Why not? It feels so great. So I've got quite a lot of hearing loss, and most of that came from listening to podcasts. So if you are listening to this, do be careful not to have your headphones up too loud or listen for too long in a noisy environment. They say something like a rule of 60 dBs for 60 minutes. But for quite a while, when I was commuting through London, when I used to work in television and commute through on the London Underground, I would listen to my favourite podcasts, and I wanted to hear every word. So I think the London Underground, probably parts of the lines get up to like 100 dB, maybe more, which is very loud. And then I was putting on the podcast in my headphones to try and compensate from that. So I could have been listening to things beyond that volume almost every day for about a year. And then I was experiencing problems with hearing, and I thought, well, I'll go and get it checked out. Maybe it's a blockage of wax. And no, it just turned out to be hearing loss. I then lost a bit of hearing going to gigs, and I've lost another sort of chunk of hearing working as a singer. But I'm pretty certain that most of the valuable hearing loss that the most important part, the frequencies for speech, has disappeared from listening to podcasts. So I still do it because I still love podcasts, and I've got some custom mold in-ear monitors from ACS, which are great. And they block out about 26 dB, and they just sound incredible. So if I wear those now, I can put those on in a noisy environment or on the train or the bus and have the volume quite low and not worry about affecting my ears. But back then, I really didn't know what I know now. And it's good that technology is changing, because, for instance, the iPhone has already added measures in that will you can put a hearing test in, and then when you listen to headphones, it will give you the music almost in a way that you would hear it with hearing aids, but almost better. And I think it may even have an option to monitor your surroundings as well, so that you're not exposed to too much loud sound. It's very much one of those things that once it's gone, it doesn't come back. And if you're around a noise or a sound and you think, oh, that's a bit loud, then it will be causing damage. And you've either got to get away from that sound or block your ears or carry around some earplugs or something like that if you really want to hang on to your hearing. But, I think it can be done. I think if you were careful in life, there's no reason why you shouldn't have all your hearing by the end of it. So I'm glad there's some of these things in place. Maybe there are in Android phones as well, but there definitely are on the iPhones to keep track of your hearing and how long you listen to things for. So the reason I bring this up is because obviously I have a lot of difficulty, and I thought, well, I'll get another hearing test. Maybe they'll, give me some hearing aids on the NHS, or maybe that'll cost money. And I had the hearing test yesterday, and surprisingly, they gave me the hearing aids straight away. I really didn't expect that. And they're all right. I'm wearing them at the moment. One of the things that's been quite useful is that you hear yourself a lot better. And I found then when I was playing guitar, I was able to sort of pitch things a bit more easily. The only thing I've found is they don't sound like they have terrific mid drivers, and it's the middle frequencies are the main frequencies I've lost. They seem to be, although they are set to my hearing loss pattern, because they're not like a normal speaker, they're more of like a little tube that goes through and then adds to the hearing you've already got. It doesn't have a decent representation of the mid frequencies. So I think there are hearing aids where they'll sort of block off a bit more like headphones will, but then things are going to sound a bit less natural. But so I don't know. We'll see how we go. And also Apple have introduced the feature into the AirPods Pro as well, and the AirPods Max, I think, where you can basically use them like hearing aids. You do a hearing test, and then you set it to like listen mode or something, and it basically works like hearing aids. So I would have thought they would probably sound better simply because they're headphones and they're more like meaty microphones and that speakers. Sorry. So it'd be interesting to try them out, but I really don't have the money. I wish I did, but that'll cost me like $200 or $300. So there's your update, hearing aid update. It's going to be interesting to see how it affects performing, and hopefully it should make things a bit easier to sing. I do often find I practice a lot of stuff, and one of the things that often fixes a lot of things is trying to sing it just a little bit softer, just a little bit, and then it still comes out just plenty loud enough, and sounds usually a bit better and a bit more in tune. So hopefully it's going to improve singing as well. So we'll see. So that song I mentioned called Love Seasons, that my friend Julio's written the lyrics for, that I've just started working on, that I want to share in a project, in a series of Patreon-only exclusive episodes. The sort of chord progression that I sort of composed originally, that I'm now going to use as the chorus, I shared that with another friend of mine who had been sort of talking about collaborating on some kind of performing arts kind of projects. And she loved it. She was really inspired. She's a dancer. She's danced a lot. Well, she's not a dancer by profession, but she's had, 10 years of ballet training. So she's a very accomplished dancer. And she wanted to choreograph a dance to it, maybe even make a full-blown music video, dance video to it. I was like, yeah, definitely, that'd be wonderful. And I said to her, what would be even better is maybe we can make a Playing with Songs episode, very much in the same style of Today is the Day, going through chunk by chunk, and do it as a collaborative thing. And she says she's up for that. So that would be absolutely fantastic if we can do that. And although that chord progression will kind of also be in the song Lovely Seasons, I just thought, well, I'll just try not to think about that too much. It's okay, this can be like a different mix of it, a remix of it. So this should be pretty fun, pretty exciting. I mean, that's why I always wanted the name of the show to be a little bit vague, like Playing with Songs leaves it open to be potentially playing with dance choreography of songs, or anything relating to songs. At one point I was thinking of calling it Playing with Performing, because then it's just anything to do with performance, in case I wanted to have any bits to do with acting. So I'm glad I went at least with Playing with Songs. So that leaves it open for dance as well, which is good. So that should be really cool. That should be really fun, and we'll be in discussions about that and put together a dance video, and ideally film it like a music video. So it should leave open a lot of options. Potentially we can make a show that goes through in chunks, and she explains what she's come up with and shows the dances, or there's lots of options. And potentially, if we've got a nice music video that's fully filmed, then you can show a clip of each chunk as it's made, or perhaps the end of the episode can show the fully made music video to say how it's all been made. So we've got a few options there, or possibly make 2 episodes. One's you sort of just saying, now I'm going to do this, now I'm going to do that, and one doing this is how you do the dances. So either way, I definitely want to have some elements in there that are helpful, and I was explaining to really the gist of the show of Playing with Songs is to kind of dispel a lot of the myths over the magic, as it were, and say anyone can do it. I don't know if it might be slightly different with dance, but I don't think so. I think if you break things down into enough detail and you slow things down enough, you can have the most difficult dancey type thing that looks very difficult, and if it's broken down to enough steps, then you've got it done. I suppose the only thing that's a bit different is if you're doing a dance move that's quite quick and a bit jumpy, then maybe you want to be a bit more careful because you could injure yourself. I suppose there's more chance of being injured if you're not careful from dancing than there is from maybe playing guitar or singing. So I guess it's a little bit different, but I'm going to try and apply the same concepts, make a show like that, because that's what would be really wonderful. Lots of collaborations, and then it's also going to create a lot more variety as well. That's something I'm also trying to create in the songs that I write. It's like every song I want it to be quite different, because why make something that sounds the same? It's nice to have a bit of variation. The other thing we were discussing is she's got this idea to start a bit of a kind of like a community project, so we'll see how that goes. That could be quite fun. It's just kind of a similar thing, really, just a means to get together a lot of like-minded people who want to create things, whether that's singing, acting, dancing, or music, and that could be quite nice. If I hear any more information about that, I'll let you know, and maybe you can reach out and join up and give it a crack. We'll see how it goes. So still quite a lot to do. I've still not quite made it yet to the release of that Today's the Day episode, because, like I say, I'm trying to quickly get it graded. So I've really given myself quite a lot of work to do. I'm going to have these 2 Making of Playing with Songs episode 11 and 12 will be filmed this week, and then I think I'll have to leave the editing of those to the following week. So as long as we've got enough material to release the Today's the Day episode on the 3rd. Oh no! At the same time as Today's the Day episode releases, I'll need to release episode 10 of the Making of Playing with Songs. Oh no, that one is ready. Phew! So we'll just about have enough ready. I'm still going to go through and create a basic Facebook page. I've still got to work out the offers. Still got to work out the tiers. We've almost got the artwork finished now for Today's the Day, which my sister's done, which has come out really cool. I just need to put on the name of the song at the top, Today's the Day, and the bottom right I'm going to put my name, Rob Langley Jones. And what I was thinking is it'd be nice to use that in the podcast artwork, but I still want the podcast artwork to say Playing with Songs. So I was thinking it might be nice maybe to put like a white circle and the logo in it, so it kind of looks like a sticker, a Playing with Songs sticker. Or maybe it'll be more of an oval shape, because the logo is a bit more rectangular. So that's the plan for that. So it's really just go, go, go. And on top of this, I still haven't really finished properly going through the songs for the summer contract, which is still going ahead. So today is going to be a rather long and rather busy day, and I'm going to fit it into quite a few pomodoros, probably 8 or 9. So fingers crossed, we'll get everything done, and then tomorrow will be another day. Thankfully, all the Wim Hof techniques have been giving me enough energy to do it. Oh, here we go. Right, that beeping means it's now time to sum and wrap up. Okay, so summing and wrapping up. I've kind of already done that, haven't I? Sort of gone through what's happening next. But one thing I've wanted to add in, I really want to add in some kind of incentive or teaser into the Making of Playing with Songs episodes to give people incentive to join Patreon. Not just the t-shirts and the mugs, but also the extra content, and also the early access, obviously, but also extra content, I think. That would be quite a big deal for me, signing up to a Patreon account. So therefore, I'm going to add into this episode, I was thinking, maybe I can put in a little bit of a preview of what the Playing with Songs episodes are going to be in Patreon. And then I thought, well, I don't want to give too much away. So I think the decision I've come to, which you'll already have a bit of a feeling of this already, because I think I talked a bit about it last week, is just to play you where the song is at now. So it's only a minute, just 1 minute of the verse. So after we've finished here, you'll get to see and hear the whole first minute of Love Seasons, which is going to be in a whole series of episodes building up the song chunk by chunk. And that could be building it up with lots of instruments, or it could just be building it up acoustically. We're going to see how we go, and it should be quite fun. Should be quite a nice song. So this might be a slightly shorter episode, so I hope you don't feel too shortchanged. But we really need to get things underway, get things a little bit on top of things, and I think after this week things should go a little bit more smoothly, and we can get a little bit more of a handle on things. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you got something out of it. Maybe there's not any particularly overly new insights. Maybe just the newest insight for me is the consistency of doing these cold showers, and the Wim Hof breathing has just really given me the peace of mind back. And now, instead of like where I would wake up and then just and ah for ages, spend forever in bed before I'd get up, and then not really get much done, and just have a great deal of difficulty, because I've kind of learnt now that really it's better just to get up and get going. And by the time I've done the cold shower and the breathing, I feel wonderful. I suppose one other thing I can mention is that because my voice sounds louder with my brand spanking new hearing aids, that means that usually it makes people speak a bit quieter. So you may find my speaking voice has changed a little bit more. I mean, it shouldn't sound quieter because obviously I set the levels and add a bit of compression, but it might sound a little bit different. But anyway, so I hope you enjoy this little preview of the first minute of Love Seasons, written by Julia. I can't remember how you pronounce her surname. She's got a funny to pronounce surname, but we will share that at some point. So I hope you enjoy that. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. I've been Rob Langley-Jones, and this has been episode 12 of the Making of Playing with Songs. Take care.
In spring, cherry trees are blooming pink. Their cheeks are turning green with jealousy. I too am thinking at that time, with who and why and where you are. And every time I look for you, I say I'm fine, but it's not true. When the sky is blue, then I am too. When it rains, I get love